And now we're going to go. Oh, wow. They have a new thing. I have to check it out. Anyway, we're going to go live on Facebook. Just moving slowly. When I was thinking about this week, the show this week, the thought of trust came into my mind as the theme for today. It seems it would be a good way to soothe people, to soothe parents. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Oh, I know. It's opening up Facebook Live. Well, that's good. Anyway, so I went back through some of my past lessons that I created for this show. And I found 2 of them connected with trust. Okay. Now Facebook Live is opening up. And I found one other that has to do with interest that connected with trust also. So that's my intention for today, is to share these with you. Okay, it says it's preparing to live stream the meeting. Now let's go back to Zoom. Okay, it says it's now live streaming. So we will start the show. I mean, it's already started. I learned once I start recording, that everything, since I opened up Zoom, everything gets recorded. Okay, let's see this. Let's see this. These shows were put together well. People were still being at home. And some people have continued since then. So, and some people were doing homeschooling before it was a requirement. Hopefully this won't take too much longer. Simple, but how I treated the kids for the one rule: we each deserve payment. Using the one rule automatically brings about trusting, and trustiness is the evidence of trust more and more. Trust joy. You know they learn what's good for them, and trust them to come to you easily. Steps towards can move want to be trusting them, because you can start with small them. Tell them you want to be able to see that this is a good idea. Now you can both eventually, even things don't go, you'll both know better. One child with ask. We had a tiny child. I did their decision. That's what I did, and the basis was no. One happened the following week. Let's see how this goes. Okay, here's another welcome, and here's trust and solutions. And what we do in the show, an aspect of trust that we did not address at all last week is what trust means to us. So here are some of my thoughts on trusting others. Trusting someone means that you believe that you can find agreement with them. You believe in their decisions and actions. Trust also means believing that someone is speaking the truth of their experience and understanding. It has been said that if there are 15 witnesses to an incident, there will be 15 different stories about what happened. It can help to remember this when you consider judging whether someone is speaking the truth. Last week's show ended with the awareness that there was an aspect of trust that I had not covered in last week's talk, and that is the child believing in and trusting their parents. I just covered the child becoming trustworthy so that their parents can believe in them. However, since the adult is the example, the model for their kids, trust between kids and adults starts there. Because of our last week's theme, trust, and ending the show with people wanting more, trust has been a theme that has floated in and out of my mind during this past week. The two primary aspects have been kids trusting the adults in their lives, and then the adults trusting themselves. First, kids trusting adults. As I think about it, it must be built into children to trust their parents, as love between parent and child seems built in for survival. Doesn't that make sense? When we are babies, we are entirely dependent on the adults in our lives to help us survive and hopefully thrive. Think of how much we can't do for ourselves. In any case, it seems that when we are babies and small children, we have no option but to trust. One awareness that has just come to me is that however much we trust our parents, trusting our parents does not take priority over trusting our developmental blueprint. What we need to do to ensure our developmental progress toward adulthood takes priority over what our parents might want us to do or not do. This is shown clearly in babies who can't yet talk or walk, but still do things that their parents do not want them to do. In fact, they might even insist on doing certain things. It seems that the most powerful trust we have as a child is in following our developmental blueprint. In terms of trusting the adults in our lives, it seems that we do trust them as long as they do not go against what we are inspired to do by our developmental blueprint. For example, as a baby, we are inspired to touch things and put them in our mouths. That is a valuable way for us to learn about things. Often our parents do not want us to put things in our mouths and try to stop us. Some even hit us, hoping that hurting us will make us stop, but it doesn't. So it seems that adults becoming trustworthy to kids becomes an issue when parents try to force kids to go against what the kids are inspired to do. Perhaps the best we can do is to help them do what they are inspired to do. Or maybe we can even encourage them and give them opportunities to go in the direction their developmental blueprint is guiding them. Maybe we are not here as their guides, just as examples and helpers, and to love them and be loved by them. In this process of trusting, it seems that the one rule takes care of the whole issue. The one rule agreement not only helps people develop trust in themselves and trust in others who practice the one rule. You can use it even if you don't already believe in yourself or your kids. Practice the one rule and get the wonderful results that come from using the one rule. Following your interests, harmony, getting what you want without having to fight for it, even trusting, believing in yourself. The other aspect of trusting that has come to me this week is adults trusting themselves, their thoughts, their decisions, and their actions. I'm calling it believing in yourself, and it seems very important. In fact, as a model of how to live, it seems critically important. Not to mention, it is essential for personal thriving. Now, a third aspect of trust has appeared, which is a primary goal of trusting. Kids growing up trusting themselves so they can thrive. The two stories I told you last week, The Roof Jumper and Poison Oak, were used as examples of an adult, me, trusting kids. But they are also examples of kids trusting themselves. In The Roof Jumper, those kids who thought they could do the jump did, and those who did not think they could didn't. Both groups were exercising belief in themselves toward a successful end. In Poison Oak, all of the kids believed in their decision to try what their friends suggested. They also had successful outcomes. The following story demonstrates that kids can be trusted with control over many aspects of life that adults often assume they cannot handle. As Bob Schwartz points out in his book, Diets Don't Work, they can even be trusted to choose the food they eat. This is his story. I once read of an experiment in which children suffering from malnutrition were put into a room filled with food. There were all kinds of delicious things to eat, including sweets and candies. And in the corner, there was a kettle of gruel. The gruel wasn't as appetizing as the rest of the food. but it was loaded with all the nutrients the children's bodies lacked. The children were told they could have anything they wanted, and almost without exception, they headed for the gruel. They couldn't get enough of it. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see about going on to the next one. Okay, you may have noticed, but it went by really quickly. But I did bring up the importance of following their interests, helping kids follow their interests. And that's what we're going to look at in this one. Okay, this is the old introduction to the one rule. So I'm going to go over it. I haven't done this for a long time. During this 1-hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and lessons on the one rule to raising happy kids. Each episode has at least one example of the one rule in action, demonstrating how it helps you raise a happy child. Then we have Q&A and discussion, and when there are guests. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I bring up the one rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. You find a solution that everyone likes. You've found agreement. You've found harmony. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. The importance of following your interests. Last week, an educator friend of mine asked one of which subject those she answered. None did the assignments because she did not see any way not to do them. How many of you would have your kids giving a similar answer? Since your kids are home with you, it is so much easier for you to help your kids follow their interests. Why would you want to do this? Why is it good for your kids to do what interests them? One primary reason is that their interest is a key to helping them become the best versions of themselves that they can become. When we do what interests us, we are very engaged and focused. Think about doing something that interests you. When we are engaged and focused, what we do and produce tends to be of much better quality than if we were not interested. Interest helps result in excellence. An even more important result of being engaged and focused is that our whole being is involved in what interests us. That is why we are engaged and focused. We are experiencing harmony. That is a good reason to allow and encourage our kids to do what they're interested in doing. I have observed children doing what really interests them, and they become peaceful, harmonious people. even if they were not before. Now, it does not mean that everything that interests our kids is going to always interest them. They may be interested for 10 minutes or 10 hours or 10 days or 10 years or even a lifetime. The point is following their interests, not the specific thing or experience that interests them, or even the length of time that it interests them. So please help your kids follow their interests. If they need your help, if they ask for your help, please help them. If for some reason you really do not want to do what they are asking you to do, that is a perfect time to use the one rule. Another reason for helping your kids follow their interests is one that is taking care of you too. When they are eager to do something instead of resisting doing it, you do not have to encourage them to do it or insist that they do it, let alone force them to do it. Think of how much of your time and energy could be available for you to use as you wish. I actually think it is the one rule in action, taking care of you and your kids. So, what do your kids find interesting? Do they prefer to be inside or outside? Do they like to be quiet or noisy? Do they prefer to be alone or with lots of other people or with a friend or two? Do they prefer reading or writing, math, science, singing, or playing a musical instrument? Helping you with your work or helping their father with his? Riding a bicycle or dancing, playing sports or video games? Encourage your older kids to be self-determined, to choose what they want to do, like they did when they were 2 years old. Use the one rule in your interactions with them and encourage them to use the one rule when interacting with each other. Establishing the use of the one rule with your kids and between your kids can help ease your mind as you are helping your kids follow their own interests. With your older kids, at least 3 years old, it is easier to use the one rule in your interactions with them and to encourage them to use the one rule when interacting with each other. With the 2-year-old, you had to do all of the work. With older kids, everyone involved helps it happen. When the one rule agreement is a common way of interacting, it's easier to trust their choices. You also know that if you have a problem with one of their choices, you can come to agreement. They know this too. It eases everyone's mind. One way to help them follow their interests is to help them be independent thinkers. When they come to you asking for help, encourage them to solve their problems, to figure out their solutions. I wonder what you can do about that. That's an interesting situation. I wonder how you might solve that. Remember, you are not always with them and able to use time and energy to provide a solution for them. The more they can solve their own problems, the more inner strength they develop, the more confidence. When they really want your help, of course, give it. If they ask for your opinion, you can give that also. If you think there are things they should know and understand, be sure to tell them. If you think they'd like certain experiences, be sure to offer those possibilities to them. It could make all the difference. When they need even more help, like knowing how to make some pants or use oil paints or put on a play, if you have those skills, teach them. If not, encourage them to research, to find resources to help them. That might be something you do together. You might also find someone who does have those skills, who can teach them what to do. All the tips for helping your older kids follow their interests can apply to your teens too. However, teens are a special case. They are really beginning adulthood. Soon they might be off into the world, maybe going to college, maybe working and getting another place to live, maybe traveling. In any case, they are preparing to enter the world as adults. Here are a few things to keep in mind that could be helpful for them. The following is on the Happy Kids member site and could be helpful to any of your older kids. So if you want to join the Happy Kids member site, it's only $1.99 a month. And you not only get what this is here, but you get just about everything. And you do get everything as soon as I get it up there. Most things that I've created are there already, but there's still some I need to put up, and I keep creating more. So there you go. Anyway, if you do want to join the Happy Kids member site, you can go to my new website, which is happykidsco.org. And up at the top, click on the link that has join in it, and there you go. Okay. All right, these are the things that I wanted to share with you here. There are, I think, 5 of them altogether. I'm just going to share a few of them here. Overlooked fact number 3. Okay, remember this is about teens. Sorry, I got into sharing about the member site with you. Okay, we as adults may consider teens as children, but they are not. They are young adults. They need the opportunity to learn and develop the skills and abilities they will need as independent adults. Attitude. You realize and accept that it is important for your teenager to practice making their own decisions while they're still at home, while they still have your help to back them up when they make the inevitable mistakes. I know this may sound scary, but the one rule takes most of the scary out of this. Skill. Learn and practice the one rule with your teen. Overlooked fact number 4. Everyone makes mistakes. Attitude. Learn to think of mistakes as challenges or learning opportunities. Skill. When you or your teen makes a mistake, ask, what lesson or lessons do we need to learn so we don't have to go through this again? Overlooked fact number 5. You must show respect first. I know that this seems backwards, to give respect to your teen when they are not giving respect to you, but it is not. It is the easiest and most powerful to do this through using the one rule. Parents serve as models of appropriate behavior for their kids. Remember, we are always examples to the children around us, and at some point, they may try out our behavior. Realize that children observe such behavior at close range. Whatever rights and privileges adults take, children naturally feel entitled to take also from a very young age. We are their model of appropriate human behavior, and in their minds, they are definitely human and thus deserve, expect, and require all human rights. This was a quote from my first book, well, the third version of my first book, Parenting for the New Millennium, Creating Friendly Families Through the Power of Respect. Attitude. You are willing to be a model of respectful behavior toward your teenager by using the one rule. Skill. You use the one rule with your teen and you tell them you are going to do this. Do you have any questions or comments about the importance of following your interests? Oh, this was probably for discussion, but if you can either email this to me if you're not a member of the Happy Kids member group on Facebook. If you aren't and you would like to join, please just put in a request and we'll get you in there. Okay. Now, let's see if we can go on to the next. The next thing. Okay. Whoops. I'm going to go over to the stories. See what we have here. Oh yeah, okay. I put the Poison Oak story there. I'm going to go over, okay. I'm going to read, oh, let's hope this gets responding. It says it's not responding. Okay. This is the one we read last week. Okay. I said, I'm sure you may not remember from last week, but there were, but I was going over the importance of and the presence of flexibility with using the one rule, that it's a totally flexible thing, except for the fact of using it. That's the only inflexible part of it. So I created 3 stories based on a question a parent asked me many years ago about their children and their child, their daughter, and bedtimes. Now, these stories, the names of the people and what goes on is not necessarily any relationship to the woman who asked me the question and her daughter. But so last week we went over the first story I wrote about having a respectful situation, because in those days, power of respect was what I shared with people. Now it's the one rule. So we're going to do it from the vantage point of the one rule, and we'll go over the next story now. And these stories are to give you words and thoughts of possible actions and attitudes when you're using the one rule. This is because I've been asked to share these and to create these and share these with people. So here's some that I've created already. So, okay. Bedtime 2 and the one rule. You've had a busy Saturday morning, errands with 4-year-old Cassie. You're looking forward to relaxing a little before you start the laundry. You stretch out on the soft, comfortable couch. Suddenly, you remember last night, and the night before that, and the night before that, and maybe now is your chance. Maybe you can use the one rule to solve your problem. You know you don't want to go through dealing with Cassie stalling at bedtime again. One more story, Mommy, please. Cassie, I already read 3 extra stories. Or, Mommy, I'm thirsty. I want to get a drink of water. After she's already tucked in bed, or even after you think she's asleep. Or, Mommy, please stay until I go to sleep. And you do, and you fall asleep, and there goes your evening. Cassie is doing an animal floor puzzle right there in the living room. You decide to do it. Cassie, I'm having a problem and I need your help to solve it. Will you help me now? I want to finish this puzzle first. Sure, Cassie. Let me know when you're done. As you're taking advantage of your time to relax, you remember a couple of days ago when you told Cassie of the online class you're taking to increase harmony in your home. That morning you were reading through your first class. Actually, you were reading along with the online audio. The day before you had watched the video. You were focusing intently, wanting to absorb as much of this new information as you could. Mommy, Mommy, my kitties are hiding. Help me find them. Cassie, I'm busy right now. I'll help you later. No, Mommy, I want you to help me now. Maybe they went outside. Cassie, did you open the front door again? Not very much, Mommy, but they're very little, and maybe they got out. They're lost. I need your help. All right, Cassie, I can finish this later. Let's go find the kitties. You're doing your best not to give in to your frustration. You think, after all, this class is about increasing harmony in our home, not creating more disharmony. She wasn't interrupting my work to cause problems for me. She just wants my help. In fact, it's a good sign that she told me about the cats, even though she knew that I don't want her to open the front door. I'm going to have to remember to fix it so she can't open it. You see a little orange streak out of the corner of your eye. I saw one of the kittens, Cassie. She dashed out of your room. I found them, Mommy. They were drinking the milk I poured for them. Great. Is there anything else you need, Cassie? I'd really like to get back to what I was doing. Later that day, after dinner, Cassie, remember? I was working on the computer when you needed help to find your kittens. I found them. They were drinking milk. Yes, I remember. I want to tell you about the class I'm taking to help us both feel good about things we do together. It's called Harmony in Your Family and the One Rule. What rule, Mommy? The one rule is agreement. We agree on what we decide, so we both feel good about what we're doing together. I like that. I do too, Cassie. That's why I'm taking this class. I want to learn how we can keep harmony between us. One thing I'm learning is how to solve problems so we both get to feel good. Do you remember that I told you that I have a problem I need your help with? I remember. Well, here's my problem, Cassie. When it's time for you to go to bed, I want you to go without asking for more stories or for a drink of water or anything else. When it's your bedtime, I just want you to go to bed. Why? Because it's your bedtime. I don't like my bedtime. You don't like your bedtime? No, I get sad when I say goodnight to my kitties. I want to be with them all the time. You even want your kitties to sleep with you? Yes, Mommy, yes, yes. Well, we could try that. You mean you would feel good about going to bed at your bedtime if your kitties were with you? Yes, yes. We'll start tonight. Tonight at your bedtime, the kitties can go with you. Let's have another meeting next week so we can tell each other how this is working for us. Yes, it's fun to have meetings. I'll put it in my phone. Now I'm going to start laundry. Do you want to help me? Yes, Mommy. Can I bring the kitties to help too? Sure. Let's all go do the laundry. Bedtime 3 and the One Rule. Okay, it starts the same. I'm going to get down about extra stories and drinking water. And Cassie is doing an animal floor puzzle right there in the living room. You decide to do it. That's to talk with her. Cassie, I'm having a problem and I need your help to solve it. Let's do it now. I want to finish this puzzle. I really need your help, and now is a good time for me. Hi, Mommy. I can't fix my problem until you help me. You can finish your puzzle later while I'm doing the laundry and cleaning the house. Come sit with me here on the couch. Listen, okay, says Cassie as she continues to work on her puzzle. You begin to feel a little frustrated because you really want to give this one rule a try. You also really don't want to continue bedtime for Cassie like it's been going. However, relaxing really does sound wonderful since she is not ready to work with you. You decide for now to continue your rest. You'll fit your talk with Cassie in later when she's open to it too. As you're resting, you remember that for younger children like Cassie, the one rule works better if it's their problem you're solving. Since this is your problem, you're glad you decided to wait until she's open to it too. Okay, Cassie, we'll talk about my problem later. Tell me when you're done with your puzzle. Cassie is already in deep concentration. You are in the middle of cleaning the house when Cassie comes to tell you, Mommy, I'm done with the puzzle. Thanks for letting me know, Cassie. Right now, I'm finishing cleaning the house. We'll have to talk later, but I want to talk with you before you go to bed tonight. Why, Mommy? Because my problem is about your bedtime. Oh, that's my problem too, Mommy. Can I help? Mommy, can I help vacuum? Sure, Cassie, that would be great. You have a problem with bedtime too? I want to go to bed when it's dark. I want to see the stars. Do you want to vacuum first or talk about bedtime first? Vacuum. That sounds good. After the house is clean. Cassie, do you remember that I told you I'm taking a class where I'm learning to solve problems so we both get to feel good? I remember. Well, let's solve this problem. Let's solve both of our bedtime problems so we both feel good about them. Shall we, Cassie? So tell me about your bedtime problem. I want to see stars. But in the summer, sometimes it doesn't get dark until after 10. That seems too late for you to go to bed. But I want to see the stars. Well, Cassie, maybe we can work this out. Let's have your bedtime be after you get to see the stars. We'll try it for a week. Next week, we'll have another meeting to see if we like the idea. I still need your help about my problem. If you go to bed after you see the stars, I want you just to go straight to bed. Are you reading me a story in my bath? Well, we can do that at your regular bedtime or before you see the stars. What do you want to try, regular bedtime or before you see the stars? Maybe if I tell you about my problem, that will help you decide. I need some me time. Oh my goodness. It's the end of the show. Well, I hope everyone has a great week and gets some chance to try out the one rule. And maybe next week, I have to tell everyone, there will be no show. So I'll see you in 2 weeks.